our next topic, which I wrote as, who is the next Epstein associate that is going to get charged?
Ooh.
None of them.
Really?
0. I mean, the craziest one is Stephen Hawking, and he's dead, so he can't get charged.
True.
I hate I hate the memes I've been seeing of Stephen Hawking on like Twitter and stuff.
Why do you hate a good time, Charles?
It's just I hate love them, but it's just too much. But we do have sound surrounding Epstein. Should we listen?
Yes.
And we're not done with Jeffrey Epstein. I can tell you that for a fact. Can't tell you how I know, but I can tell you for a fact we're going to hear a lot more about Jeffrey Epstein in the coming year. And you may be even hearing from him directly. More on that as I'm allowed to tell you.
Look at this. This is all right. So we're going to get some video of Jeffrey Epstein talking about somebody or something or whatever. And everyone's so excited. Oh, we got some papers from Jeffrey Epstein. We got a bunch of names and it's all official. And finally they unsealed some stuff. And just watch. Nothing's going to happen. Nothing. We're all going to be so focused on it. And it's fun. Like, it's great content for this. And it's great conversation with friends. And we get to say, see, Bill Clinton's a fucking nutcase. Right? And everyone says, no, Trump's a nutcase. And it doesn't, like, I mean, the American people are going to live. Watch.
Sorry.
Watch what the media is doing. And it's, I mean, if you can't see the media bias with this Epstein document dump, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, open your eyes and ears. Bill Clinton is mentioned 50 plus times in this by a woman that was sex trafficked by Jeffrey Epstein. And the media is saying, now this doesn't suggest that he did anything wrong. That's exactly what this does. It under no other way to read this, except it suggests he did something wrong. Plus all of his, previous proclivities that we all know about. It seems most likely that something bad happened. And yet they all point to, well, Trump is also mentioned. Look, Trump has a fucked up life, I'm sure. Does crazy stuff. He's probably, I hear that he's nice, but I'm sure, he's a billionaire. He grabs him by the pussy. All right, fine. So maybe he grabs some people by the pussy. And if he was, but in these documents, he's the only one that said that they're saying, like, no, we didn't see him anywhere. He was, he banned Jeffrey Epstein from Mar-a-Lago. He was willing to testify and was very helpful, out there. And they're saying, well, but they don't try to protect Trump. They're just protecting Bill Clinton. And people don't see it.
It's the media. It's the same thing with that Amy Robach video clip from years ago where she was saying she had all this information. I know we all saw it. Everybody saw it. Where they're on hot mic on ABC, and she's like, "We had this, and we were told not to run it because of the royal family, and they were coming here next week." It's it's the same stuff, and I agree. Yes, I mean, you're on this list 50 plus times, 40 plus times. It probably does mean that you're implicated in something. I mean, I think that's true for everyone on there except Michael Jackson. And when you look at all the people that are in this, I mean, they're people have had these questions about or have had some sort of stuff like that about for a long time. So I don't disagree. But I also hate this Megyn Kelly thing because it's the same thing Tucker Carlson does, which is I got all this information. I just can't tell you. You'll just wait for it. It's I can't stand that. I can't stand that.
How do I have to be the optimist all the time? Okay, so a couple things. One, what I like to do with this story is remove the names when I'm telling it to myself.
Every night when he goes to bed, he tells himself the same.
This story should be above the fold every day until we get to the bottom of it. Yes. In terms of the news content, obviously we're getting biased coverage. Obviously the media is ignoring it. I got in this Twitter fight with what's the Washington Post writer that lives here in Austin, Brad?
What was your question?
Nina.
What's the writer? I'm sorry.
She writes for the Washington Post and she lives in Austin. She's an urbanist. Gosh,
oh God. I try to ignore those people.
Nina Satiha. I don't know how to pronounce her name. Okay. Anyways, she argued with me that they would get covered, and I was like, no, there's no way they're going to cover it. Anyways, I like to remove the names because the magnitude of this story is so massive. And I like how Eric Weinstein describes it. Like he's like, we tripped over something. Like we accidentally fell into a doorway that was open and we got a view of what was going on behind the scenes. And they're trying to shut the door on us. But here's my prediction on Epstein. I think the story is too big. I'm going to take my optimistic view. I wrote none, but I'm going to change my prediction right here because you guys both said none. The story is so big and has so much interest that somebody has to go down, or somebody has to go down, other than Ghislaine and Jeffrey, who was killed in his cell. I'm going to predict Prince Andrew gets charged in the United States for his involvement with the Epstein thing.
There was a settlement with him
between him and Virginia Giuffre. What I'm saying is there will be criminal charges brought against Prince Andrew in the United States. He's protected from being
diplomatic immunity. Probably.
He has diplomatic immunity, so he won't be sent over here and tried. But they will charge him because they have to do something, and they can't. The only person in jail cannot be a woman.
I agree that they got to do something, but I mean, Prince Andrew, I don't think is the one they're going to do it to. That's like an international event that we're charging a member of the royal family. Like, I think that has long-lasting consequences. Not that I'm saying not that I'm saying they shouldn't do it for these reasons. Like, go for it. If he did stuff, he should be charged. But I think they're looking at this through a political lens, the same way ABC was. Like, oh, we've got Meghan and Harry coming here next week. We can't run this story. I think they're going to be looking at this on an international scale, saying we can't charge a prince of not even just a prince, but a prince of the British royal family. Like, I feel like they're not going to do that. Maybe. I mean, that would be crazy, and there would be no way that you cannot report that if we charge a prince, the brother of the sitting king. There's no way you cannot report that. No way.
Not happening. There's zero.
All right.
There's less than zero chance. He's probably more likely to become king.
We shall see.
Yeah, we will see.
Here's what the royal family has already cast him out. Did you see that interview he did at Buckingham Palace?
Yeah, he's already been through the humiliation routine. They're not going to do it to him again.
It was basically an admission of guilt.
Sure.
That interview. Yeah. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen on TV in my entire life.
Was that the one where he was like, that couldn't have been me because I don't sweat that. I didn't sweat that. Like during those years, I didn't sweat. I was like, oh, okay.
He's like saying such preposterous things. Like, yeah. Who was like, this is a good idea? Go. Yeah. So to me, it says that he was put out there as a hostage. Like, you have to go.
Yes, it's the humiliation routine of probably whatever secret society that they're all in, right? It's not. He's already been through it. If it's going to be anybody, it's going to be somebody else. And I mean, 10-1 odds, it's going to be nobody.
Well, okay. So now that I think through this a little more, I can see why Michael's position might make sense. Because one, the British royal family is on. The entire role of the family is to protect the sitting monarch. And so the fact that he is like the brother of the sitting monarch, he doesn't matter. And so he could be someone that they throw to the wolves simply because he does not matter. And because all this stuff is out there anyway, the same way that they kind of did to Harry, the same way they did to the Queen's uncle. Like, they've done this to like family members before where they've cast them out and just thrown them to the wolves. So I could see that. And the fact that they've all got like dueling press offices that make each individual one try to look as stellar as they can. So if this has any implication towards the overall family or the longevity of the family, I can very easily see them throwing him to the sharks to protect the rest of them.
Nothing's going to happen.
And then like with a wink and a nod being like, yep, well, go ahead, do what you got to do.
Nothing's going to happen. The intelligence agencies behind all of this aren't going to let it happen. So, sorry.
Let what happen? Let the prince be charged, or let him talk about?
Let anything happen to anybody, because then someone talks.
Well, Ghislaine Maxwell's in jail. Epstein was
for what? What is she in jail for?
Trafficking people to no one.
Exactly, to no one, to zero people.
I don't disagree with your criticism. I'm going out on a limb. And I'm saying if someone is going to be charged, which I wrote in my notes, none, But if I had to go with one, I'm going with Prince Andrew for a number of reasons. And I'm going to stick by that prediction. He will be charged. And you might be right, but I might be right.
Sure. Yes, absolutely. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I don't care. Like I'm happy to be wrong. It doesn't bother me at all. It just so rarely happens. It's almost like a novelty, you know?